From sports to culture, mental health to economics, politics, relationships, and life issues.
Sit down and catch up with Aaron868 and Ricardo Mitchell as we have casual conversations on serious topics.
Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room.
It is now 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the True Nation station WACK 90.1 FM, where we are culture crazy. First and foremost, let's kick this off as we always do, all right? Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always give thanks. Secondly, we have to say thank you to those that went before us. And we are not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, because we all know, accept, reiterate, and say it with the chest, that Columbus lied. But also to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, where the P this week stands for
Pillow Talk, Aaron. Pillow Talk.
Yeah. Caught on quick there.
That's right. That's right.
I was getting scared.
We're gonna go a little easy this week. A little light, a little soft, a little comfortable because the place heavy, boy.
If you don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we would have done an episode and entitled it Heaviness.
Yes.
And you can go back and check that out on the Living Room playlist on YouTube. Just go on DJ Aaron868 YouTube page. Make sure and subscribe if you haven't already.
That's right.
Check out the Living Room playlist, or you could just search the Living Room
868.
Yeah, right? The Living Room 868, and the playlist will come up, and you can check out the videos. Look for Heaviness and see what we were talking about then. Or if you want to see any one of the numerous guests we would have had, there are many. There are about close to 200.
I think it's like 197. This might be 197 or 198.
We'll check it. So for 200, we'll try to do something special.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. Maybe even a guest, or maybe even past guest sisters.
Or a snack.
We can at least do a snack.
A snack box. We guess something that might take a little more coordination, but snack boxes really
not very coordinated. So,
brother man.
Yeah.
You saw that video?
What video?
Uncoordinated, sir?
No, you have a video of your lack of coordination?
Yeah, boy.
Where?
So a couple of weeks ago, they said Madeleine Regional Complex would have hosted a aerobic burnout.
Oh there.
Or / aerobathon.
My word.
Right? And I was the DJ for it.
Right.
And because the guy provided a mix, I say, you know what, let me try to
take a thing.
Take that thing. And
the P was for partake now.
Right. But honestly, I went good for the warm-up. Like real good for the warm-up. But after the warm-up, when they switched instructors, the first one came on with a set of foot moves, boy.
Why that sound like Leon?
No, it wasn't Leon.
That wasn't Leon? Okay.
But he came up with a set of foot moves. So I swear I was in footloose.
Right.
My thing is, after the warm-up, like keep the upper body action going. But he come with fancy footsteps and he had to come behind Swan and cut Swan. I was like, I not in a salsa dance movie.
Yeah, they live in La Vida Loca, right? Dirty dancer.
Okay, the front thing. So I thought you saw that video.
No, I have not, but I will be looking for it.
You were not going to find it anyway.
Oh, it was a story?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And it was, I asked for it to be deleted.
I know who to talk to find out about getting said video.
Just like the previous Living Room intro that I asked to be just the same way.
You know what? And
oh my word.
Over the past couple of weeks, I've come to appreciate how uncomfortable it can be to see your personage utilized in AI.
Can he do something?
No. Just looking at some things that I've seen, because everybody using AI now to quickly generate the flyers and to do videos, but sometimes people run into, even for little work presentations and things, people using AI to do things.
As I would attest to that, I have.
Right? And sometimes the AI's representation of you is not accurate. So
Really?
it's kind of discomforting to see a not you version of you.
Yeah, it is a lot, and you have to accept technology is changing, technology is updating, and AI is part of the technological wheel now. So accept it or not, you have to understand that it is there. It's up to you now to learn how to use it to your advantage, or sometimes for it to be used for your disadvantage.
I mean, you could draw a line, say, hey, I didn't really agree to that, or even, yeah, and I rate it because having gone through it from the other end, where it's like, it's not malicious intent, you know, you might have had an awareness of what it was for, but seeing your likeness misrepresented is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, in case I didn't apologize before,
No, you did.
I didn't? Okay.
But you could do it again.
Yeah, this is like my 4th or 5th apology.
Today?
I was gonna make a joke about it, but the thing is, I apologize. Like, I have no problems apologizing for anything. No problems. Because even if what I did not come from a bad place, sometimes the things that you do have unanticipated consequences and impacts on people.
Correct.
And if it didn't mean for that to be the outcome, well, then you shouldn't have a problem, you know? Not, even if it's not necessarily retracting it, but acknowledging that what you did had a result that you did not want.
Consequence.
It had a consequence, and I'm sorry that I did that because I had not realized it would impact it that way.
And that's the thing, one thing we have been seeing flouted on social media is that things have consequences.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I tell?
No, that's all I'm going to say,
Oh.
is that things have consequences. And if what the action you have made is or it has affected someone negatively, or even caused a level of discomfort within a relationship, it's okay to say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry.
You know, it's the interesting thing as well, Aaron. One of the reasons people might have problems with apologizing for things is because they meant exactly what they said and did. So here the catch, right? There has been a cry recently for a particular politician or two to desist the social media activities because of what they're doing. All I am saying, and this is in a completely unrelated, no, you know what? Sorry, I'm not gonna water it down and butter it up. I'm gonna talk quick. Every court has a jester, and it's for a reason. It is a very important political position. Every deck has a joker, at least one. What? I don't know if you ever watched the rodeo. You ever watch rodeo?
No.
All right. So you're talking about what could possibly be the longest 7 or 8 seconds of a bullfighter's life, of a cowboy's life. He would sit on this wild bull and it is bucking, and more than likely he'll get thrown off within a couple seconds. That animal at that point in time is considerably more dangerous when you're not on it. To distract the bull from attacking the rider after he's thrown off, you get a very wild, imaginatively dressed clown
So that
running out to draw the attention of the bull.
you were speaking of rodeo, like the sport rodeo.
Yeah.
I thought it was an actual cowboy western or something.
Oh, no.
Apologies.
Well, you know, I like my westerns.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of that age.
Yes, I am of that age. You know, Yul Brynner, the Magnificent Seven, and the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the Sergio Leone trilogy. I love spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, that your speed.
So the thing with the clown is that the clown is absolutely necessary to distract the bull from the rider. The clown distracts the bull from the rider. So anytime you see a particular clown-like behavior, ask yourself, what is that clown trying to distract me from? Or to continue the analogy that I'm using, what bull is this clown trying to distract me from? I'm just saying, it's intentional. So if you find yourself being incensed at a particular type of social media commentary, particularly from people that you would expect better from, there's a very real possibility that that clown is intentional. So shift your focus.
The action.
The action of the clown is intentional.
I'll just say the action.
Anyway, I don't want to be that guy, but you know who I am? I'm Ricardo Mitchell, social sage on the global stage. And you, sir, huh? Because I realize we are a good 9 or 10 minutes in.
Here on 868, I mind you each and every time that culture is my code. With that being said, we always have spoken of the fact that you need to stay vigilant of the things that are taking place in and around.
Yeah.
So, but it's also impossible, we also have to accept that it's also impossible to stay abreast of all the things that are going on around you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to exercise that level of discernment to know what deserves or does not deserve your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And last week I would have made the confession and admission that I am trying my best to stay away from certain things in an attempt to improve my mental health or keep my mental health in a place where I manage it well.
I am trying to listen to you, and all I'm thinking is I'm seeing you singing "This Is My Confession," but you're not Usher. You're more like Asher. You know,
Brother man, I have not gone to karaoke in a long while,
this is my
and also I have banned from saying that song.
serious.
Yes. Right.
Wait, who banned you?
I have nothing to confess. Anyhow. But with that being said, they also have to try to stay abreast of what is taking place, because many changes can be happening under our noses and we are not aware of it.
Because we're watching the clown on them.
Exactly. So if you are a landlord, just remember that the deadline for registration to be a landlord is upcoming.
Okay.
It's the 31st of May.
Nice.
So
Nice.
make sure, and if you are a landlord, please fill out the necessary documentation and submit it to the Board of Inland Revenue, along with the payment of $2,500.
A one-time registration?
One-time registration, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Right? For further information, you can check out the Board of Inland Revenue website or Facebook pages. They have well documented the process as well as the information needed to be presented if you are a landlord to register for this surcharge.
You know, sometimes I underestimate how knowledgeable you are about procedures.
Sometimes.
Yeah. You know, you have such like a solid general grasp on information that I forget that like the particulars and the technical is a space that you excel in.
Sometimes I actually hate it. I really do hate it. Because the thing about it is, as much as we want to complain about a lot that is taking place, there has to be a level of compliance as well.
Right.
Because of the penalties and consequences of lack of compliance.
Yeah.
So I understand that we may be frustrated as a population about some of the new taxes or penalties or fines being imposed, but until they are either reversed or altered, you have to comply. So if you're a landlord, as much as you might be vexed, or you're locked into a lease and you didn't increase your rent or whatever it may be, you have to pay that $2,500.
And it's a one-time registration.
A one-time registration, and then thereafter the calculation starts of if your rent is over the personal allowance, then you pay PYE and all. It is a thing after that, but again, further communication will be forthwith from the Ministry of Finance, so please do stay abreast of that. I don't want any landlord that is listening to WAC say we didn't do our part to inform.
Okay.
So if you are a landlord and listening to WAC, we doing our part to remind you, comply about it.
I get you. You know, as I say that, it kind of made me wonder, what is our role? Because I mean, we are like a evening talk show. You know, we have the other interview. When we in station calls. So when you change, put on clothes, and sit down to record this hour-long conversation, what do you come into this space thinking?
For me, radio on the whole is edutainment.
Edutainment.
Yeah. So there should be some educational aspect of it, be it formal or informal, but we also provide a level of entertainment to our listeners.
You think you've been entertaining for the evening so far?
No, I have not been entertaining for the evening. Actually, yes, I have been. I regale the listeners with a tale of my out of timeness.
Hey, that's not bad at all. And you've also been entertaining me. So not bad.
Yeah. So what do you think is our role and responsibility then?
I would take your answer. Edutainment is one aspect of it. But more than that, because I believe Wax on air team is such that they do tend to mix entertainment and education generally across the day. If you blessed enough to catch any of the programs, you'll realize that Wax delivers a really healthy balance. You're depending on what program you come into, you'll get some faith, some you'll get some politics, some you'll get some current events, a heavy dose of culture. So I was kind of thinking like this particular hour, what different about this particular hour? And for me is the ability to have a heavier conversation than you might. However, I still also want it to be a case of it might be a lighter conversation on a heavy topic.
Correct is right.
Even within that, there is a balance. But I would like to think that when we sit and have a particular discourse, somebody who would have never caught whack before, or somebody who just gave up on radio, that they would be surprised and encouraged to see two young black men having a meaningful conversation without, beating up our chests in this condescending know-it-all manner, without this. I think we present a space in between some of the heavier talk spaces and some of the rap that you'll get on more urban style stations.
But because I know that this example may come across as crass, but Marshall in a song from last year called The Truth sang about balance. We are not advocating for that type of balance.
Nope.
However, life is about balance.
Right.
So you have to have, as Ricardo says, the balance of the ratchet and the righteous.
Yeah, I get that from Zoom, Brendan James.
Right.
Actually, the guy who dropped the book 2 weeks ago.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You had to have that balance.
Yeah.
The ratchet and the righteous. The good and the bad. The fun and the serious. The healthy and the unhealthy. Roti and doubles. Actually, there's no balance there. But
no, that sounds very balanced to me. That's bad advice. But
balance.
personal opinion, I was going to tell you bring a roti when he was coming.
No, I don't know what I was getting at. I passed by the usual spot that I tried to go by for the long.
You have to pass the. Well, I wonder. You know what I'll get? I'm gonna call and see how to go and big up Sally's.
Right.
Yeah, balance.
Life is about balance.
You realize you just wave with doubles and roti in front of me and I just gone off.
Yeah, but you just go and call Sally one time.
Yeah.
But life is about balance. So
Sally, are you okay? Sally, are you okay?
you want to watch that yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, cool. I need to go and watch it as well.
Yeah.
I'll probably go tonight. Well,
Tonight. Told you, Michael?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to go and see her. Michael has been one of the musical geniuses of my lifetime. And I would really like to get that story being told. We ain't going into the backstory and all that back. I don't know what.
But you know what I want to acknowledge though? Do you notice this year Michael dropped great, but we also had Terry Lyons drop something in the theaters. We had Marshall drop something in the theaters.
Yeah, there was a strong presence on the local movie scene as well.
Yeah.
So
Bigger
balance.
Yeah.
Balance. As much as we want to pay homage and respect to our global icons, we must also pay respect to our local icons. And one local icon that we have to be really paying respect to him, but we have to acknowledge the work that he's doing is the president of the Redman Association, Kes the Frentala. Yeah, Kes the band was featured on the popular NPR Tiny Desk concert series. Their concert, their 23-minute performance would have dropped last week Friday. And at last checking yesterday, they were at 214,000 views.
214,000 views.
Yeah. Right? And in that they performed some of our favorites, which would have been Hello, Fallen, Cocoa Tea, Jolene, Rum and Coca-Cola.
Real love that Jolene, you know.
Okay, you like Mango?
I know, I just something about the song.
Okay.
Yeah.
What Less
Right.
and Savannah Grass.
Right.
And what I loved about the performance of Kes the band, not just the fact that Terry was there.
I was waiting for it.
Not just because Terry was there, but also was the feature of the steel pan. He had soloist Galston from the Belmasi Trinidad All Stars, and Dwayne put on a solo there in Savannah Grass. I say, but we needed something like that.
So Kes used the opportunity to feature his group and his music for 20-something minutes.
But not Kes, but NPR choose Kes.
NPR choose Kes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say again, and I'm gonna finish his sentence.
Sorry.
Right? And he opted to give part of that to not just other artists, but to the instrument.
Yeah. Our instrument.
Our instrument. I ain't gonna lie, that is great stuff. That is great stuff. That is encouraging because it would have been so easy to say, listen, in this 20 minutes I have here, let me right?
23 minutes.
Let me get mine. Let me introduce as many people to my band as possible. And instead, he used the space to introduce as many people to the music as possible. Kes is and has always been a brilliant ambassador of the culture. I remember at Juve, was that Josie's? Quite possibly. And when I was still doing them thing. That's probably one of the last ones I did, if not the last one. And, you know, bunks up Kes and is like, hey, big up, da-da-da-da-da, ting-ting-ting, chalala. And it's like, you know, something I talk about, you know, as a South man and thing. And he was like, well, we had to let go that North and South and that, we had to let go that mindset because outside, Trinidad is just Trinidad, if they even know Trinidad. Right, so it was one of those things. He don't ever switch that off.
No, the thing for me is, and I'm happy you brought that up, as it's just Trinidad. I also think as Trinidadians and Tobagonians, though we are small, though we are a young country, we have to accept that we have played a pivotal role in the world and the development of certain aspects and sports around the world. Right? There are two things that come to mind particularly. Do you know that Trinidad and Tobago had 4 players playing in the English Premier League? 4.
At the same time?
No, not at the same time. Over different stages.
Only 4?
Probably 5.
You don't mean like 4 on like a team?
No.
This stat sounds familiar, but also... Anyway, listen.
Right. We had 5 players playing in the English Premier League. Shaka Hislop.
Alright.
Dwight York.
Yeah.
Kevin Jones. Stern John. And I think Carlos Edwards as well. All of them would have featured in, if not, I know for sure, Shaka, York, Kenwin.
Russell Latterby was never...
No.
He was in
Scotland.
Park, yeah, right.
And for Stern John, I know Stern John playing with Birmingham. I can't remember if Birmingham was in the Premier League at the time he was there, or if that was in the Championship. And I know Carlos Edwards played for Sunderland. And I can't remember if that was in the Premier League or the Championship.
You didn't have a youth man playing in the EPL recently as well?
No, that is, I think you're talking about Dante Gilbert, and he is playing in Holland with PSV, sorry, my apologies.
All right.
We have Cardenas, who plays for Crystal Palace now, but he plays for the under-21. Unfortunately, they would have lost last week to Manchester United's under-21 for the Youth FA Cup.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Let's just go with what we're sure about. We had 3 Trinidadians playing in the Premier League.
But it's three Trinidadians or three Trinidad and Tobago national players.
Trinidad and Tobago national players. Thank you very much for the correction.
That is what I'm here for, you know.
Right?
That's what I'm here for.
We also
Some small correction.
had one of the brilliant minds who would have piloted a project for NASA, but because of his lack of letters behind his name, for want of better word, he was asked to give up the project.
Interesting.
So we have to accept that though small, though a young country, we have made an impact on the global stage. And if we want impacts like those things, like the NPR features, the athletes in top leagues and all these different things to continue, we have to, as you say, stop looking at it as the tongue and the south or the Trinidad and Tobago and look at it as our nation and invest in our own, support our own.
I mean, like things like grassroots sports and social clubs.
And I'm happy that you brought up grassroots sports.
Music programs.
The thing is, and I'll just use sports as the example because I want to highlight something in sport that would have happened recently.
Sure.
Two things in sport. When there are leagues in the communities, like currently that there's the East-West Corridor Football Championship taking place, where the semi-final would have been played on Sunday night at the Hasty Crawford Stadium training pitch. And when there are things like that, or the Trinidad and Tobago Premier League football, we need the communities to go out and support.
Right.
Because I know for the clubs, ticket sales would help. When not to rent a facility, you can't just be expecting them to rent the facility or a good facility for the games to take place, and then they just paying all that money and they just getting appearance fees. No, the ticket sales could go into supporting the clubs. When there's secondary school cricket, that Presentation College, the 2026 Power Gen Secondary Schools Premier 1, where Presentation College San Fernando would have gone undefeated for the season and won the 50 over and the T20. We need the people to go out. Now, I know admittedly, some of the games are during the day, so the working population may not be able to assist. However, when they have the games at night at Brian Lara, go out and pay $20 or $30 and support. Because I know them games are no expensive games. The Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board and the WICB, when there's the regional competition, which is currently ongoing in Antigua. You remember when we went to watch a game in Lara, it was free?
Yeah.
Things like that should be at least at $20. Again, those are the financial support that we, the regular citizen, could support. But we always like to clamor, the government, corporate Trinidad, corporate Tobago. It's not just on them, it's also on us.
Yeah.
If you tell me I could pay $20 and go and see the likes of Joshua, the Silver scoring a double 100.
Yeah, again,
I will go and do that.
yeah.
I might not stay for the whole thing to see the entire double 100, but I was there for part of it.
And when you really, all jokes aside, a little $20, $30 to go to these things, is one, it'll add up, right? And two, I don't want to make it sound bad, but bro, it have men spending more than that on a single drink. You forget what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? I ain't telling people how to spend the entertainment budget, but between 2 Malta and 3 to 5 hours of cricket, I can take 3 to 5 hours of cricket for my $20, you know.
And that's the thing. So we have to also look at it that, yes, there's a responsibility on the policymakers in our country to support sports.
Yes.
Grassroots sports and programs. There's also a responsibility for corporate country to support sports and grassroots programs. But there's also a responsibility for us, the regular citizen, to support grassroots programs and sports. So with that being said, I want to shout out the Our Dreams Matter 2 edition of the Under 21 and Over 21 football competition, which would have taken place at the foot of San Fernando Hill over the past 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
Right? Now, the only reason I found out about it is because I saw Elon, that's DJ Elon, posting every night the schedule of the games. And I say, what is this thing, right? And then boom, the next day when I'm going to work, I see on YouTube the live stream. So I started to take in some of the games on YouTube. And I'm watching some talented young men playing in this thing. I was like, I didn't know this tournament was going on. But what I also realized is they had a lot of sponsors, right? So now there's no free advertising to anybody, but I want to shout out the companies that take the time to sponsor these kind of initiatives, because to host a tournament of that stature over that period of time with prices ranging like 10,000 and things like that, it'll take some support. So like Papi's Waterhole, Dev's Barbershop, California Stucco, Coco Buzz, Ace Transport, Team Joy, RBC, Lullaby, Ricky Ragunanan, SSL, and AW Motors.
Nice.
Right? They would have put up to support that initiatives. The initiative, sorry, and I want to say congratulations to the winners of the under 21 category. In first place was Magic, second place was Love Movement, and they say when Love Movement came down, they bring the whole of the East with them. Right? And then the over 21, the winner was Zooks, and the second place was Trinidad Pros. Right? So congratulations to those teams. And I hope that, and there's my thing, if you look at sports around the world, many communities might have tournaments or cities or whatever, but you know who's be present in them kind of tournaments? Scouts.
Yeah.
So I hope that our various levels of national teams at least had some kind of scouts there to see what talent was on the show, to see it now. Now, I'm not going to repeat the names that the commentator was calling them, because he was calling them some kind of names. I was like, brother man, you could have learned each people's name at least. Right? But there were some players there that I was seeing some talent, and it was raw talent. And raw talent can be refined. So we have to take it. We talk about World Cup 2030 now is our goal, because you know there's always shift 4 years for us. Let we move to a place where we start preparing for World Cup 2030 now, and not wait until 2028 when qualifiers start.
Right.
That is what we need. Get some of them fellas in our youth program, get them on a national team, get them in training, and let them play the football consistently together. So that as a nation, the level of togetherness on the team will transpire not just to the performances in one or two friendlies, but to performances when performance matters.
And because we are being deliberately positive this episode, I'm not going to talk about the failure of our program to launch on the premise that we have coaches who go back and forth and going after each other with personal comments and nothing, Aaron, nothing. I'm just saying that the personnel or professional personnel, they have a responsibility to function professionally as well to give any of these programs any hope, because you can't be making headlines for some out of time in comment or out of time in retort when you have a job to do and your players, you're looking up to you as an example of how to conduct yourself. What is the tone and the etiquette of this space we're functioning in? They're saying if you're a leader, you're supposed to conduct yourself accordingly, because you set the tone for what you permit in your space and the soil in which your program is going to grow. Straight out out there.
I ain't getting that one.
You have more positive notes on that thing there?
No, since we're talking about sports, I think the newest evolution in sport that we are realizing and witnessing is that beside the fact that Trinidad have a bobsled team,
Right.
we also have a handball team. And within that handball team, we would have participated in the NACHC, that is the North American and Caribbean Handball Championships in St. Kitts and Nevis from the 24th to the 26th of October. Wow. The 24th to the 26th of April.
Yeah, I'm not going to say either you're real late or you're real early.
Right? 2026. That was about 2 weeks ago, right? We would have placed 4th in the overall tournament, right? Now, here are the teams that we would have that won the tournament. The USA,
Right.
Puerto Rico, and Mexico came too.
Cool.
You see the kind of countries we're talking.
Yeah.
Countries that invest in their sporting programs.
Yep. Countries who recognize that sporting program is opportunity for the citizenry, for the communities. Because one of the funny things, and I'm going on a wrestling tip for a second here, right? When the WWE launches a new superstar, they tend to do these types of focus segments on who this person is, where they came from. So you draw attention to communities. One of the things I've also noticed, a lot of professional athletes tend, having achieved a certain level of success, they tend to, a lot of them go back and invest in their communities and in the developmental programs for the youth, in the schools that they went to, in the businesses, in the areas that they came up in. Sport is not just a feel-good, keep people out of crime initiative. Sport is an actual economic booster. It is an economic injection into a lot of spaces. You actually generate, you could receive income on a national or a global level and channel some of that back into communities that otherwise would have never had access to those resources.
Now, the thing about it, right? And let me call a spade here. Because our budget within Trinidad and Tobago, again, we really don't want to go heavy today, but
You can be positive and heavy, yeah?
we also have to comprehend and then complain, right? So our budget, the majority of it is in terms of recurrent expenditure, as I have said on probably like 150 occasions now, is like a recurring statement for me.
Yeah, it is.
And
If you were like a tickle me Aaron, right, and you pull the string, that's one of the things that would come out.
subsidy. Anyway,
80% recurring expenditure.
probably more than that now, but anyhow, right? But if we want to truly see and reap the economic benefits of sport,
Yeah.
it needs investment. Now, admittedly, Trinidad and Tobago has some of the best sporting facilities in the region.
Yes.
Watch the National Cycling Center. Watch the National Aquatic Center. I have gone to numerous countries across the Caribbean, and where I seen some of them youth men sweating, we have better facilities than that here.
Right. So programs, a strong program is more than just the facility.
Yeah.
All right.
We need the programs and constant programs, not just within the football season or within the cricket season. There also is remedial work that could be done off season.
It is really difficult for me to comment and celebrate some of these things and not point out that a lot of the reasons things don't work in Trinidad and Tobago is because of the mindset we have. And I'm saying that because you know what happens in football season? Football games get priority. And then in cricket season, cricket matches get priority. And what happens is, instead of having multidisciplinary facilities or multifunction facilities, you end up with we don't get to use it because this, that, or the other going on.
Now, the next part of it is there are facilities which are earmarked for certain sports. We also have to accept that the sporting landscape is changing.
Yeah.
So there are children that are coming up that are not interested in the FCR or the RCF.
What's RCF?
Running cricket and football.
Okay, all right.
I did now penning that term there. So
Okay.
the RCF. Running cricket and football. There are children that are interested in esports now.
Yeah.
Where do we have facilities for children to get invested in that or interested in that? Not every parent has the ability to buy a PS5 for a child. Where are the facilities that you could carry your child, or the communities that you could carry your child where they could play FIFA together?
And don't get tired up, esports is a they reach billion already, multi-billion-dollar enterprise.
And the thing about it is we speak about speed, right?
Yeah.
One of Speed first ventures was streaming while playing game. So beside the culture and the facilities being streamlined for certain purposes and those different things, we also have to accept that as parents or elders in society, there's a level of investment we have to invest in the young generation. And if your son comes and says, Mommy or Daddy, I want to play rugby, they have rugby clubs.
Hey, big up the two youths that I see Sunday evening on the corner, we going with a rugby ball to the field. Big up all there. Just say, don't know if they'll hear this, but
Yeah, they're probably not listening.
I told one of them, I said good afternoon, and they actually,
The grandmother probably listening.
yeah, well, big up you, granny or grandpa.
So if you know your child was a marble or something going to play rugby, big up all it.
Yeah. I
Right.
play rugby, eh? Well, play rugby. You know who I'm talking to?
I don't know where you're going with it.
No, I mean, don't use these things as an excuse for other things now.
Oh, well, that's a whole other conversation.
You know, there's a whole other conversation,
Those are,
and I'm just going to interject this, the importance of not just personal responsibility, but collective accountability, right? While you're talking there, Aaron, and I'm thinking, yeah, esports makes sense in Trinidad and Tobago because we spend a lot of time online, apparently. This is me talking about, you know exactly what it is I'm talking about. You know exactly what we ranked in the world for what we just be doing online.
with it.
Right? What I'm saying is we spend a lot of time online as a culture. Alright?
Sorry.
We could be using some of that time. Let the youth and them play some game, right? In our capacity. It's better to play in game than anyway. That's one point. Right? But here the catch. Imagine you do have a center where these youths could go and play some game instead of sitting on the block playing wacky and, you know, looking to make a hustle and, you know, harass people and break into houses and thief car and them kind of things, right? Imagine you could go and jam some game because you're trying to qualify for a tournament. You know that. But imagine, I'm thinking of that and it's like, yes, it sounds like a great investment, but then we undermine our own advances. Because you know what immediately came to mind? Them pests and them who broke into Skiffle Panyard and stole the TVs and those kinds of things. You know, a couple months ago,
No, I didn't know about that one.
yeah, a couple months ago, that some social media footage of some YouTube broke into Skiffle Panyard and gone with some of the equipment, and I think they had a little game station and whatever. What I'm saying is, if we take in from ourselves, we drilling holes in our own boat.
Yeah, we playing, yeah.
Right? So what does it imagine you have a facility with 10 PS5, right? And some Xbox and some high-powered gaming computers, and you will have to secure that like Fort Knox.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, again, admittedly, there is a level of risk associated with any investment.
Yeah. But the pin in the point, and sorry, handing back over, is when this youth man or young girl come home with money or a TV or a setup or a system or clothes, and you know that they ain't working anywhere, where they get it from? The old time statement of, I couldn't come home with a pencil from school, I would have to carry it back. We can't be talking about what the youths and them doing, and there's never any youths again. We can't be talking about what people doing, but then the spaces that they're bringing these benefits to, allowing and encouraging it. You understand? At some point in time, it's like, I don't want that in my house. Carry it back where you get it. If that's what it is you're going to do, you can't do it here. But I'm just saying that we could talk all we want about perpetrating, but enabling the bag holder was on the teeth. You dig? So there are things that we're talking about putting into place so that we can develop some things, but we also have to put things and re-establish things to protect the things we're trying to build.
But we also have to accept that we can't keep throwing on the baby with the bathwater every single time. And one thing I've realized is that we like to create new things, shiny new things, to show that we do something, rather than maintaining the things which are already there.
Yeah.
Why now?
Then I just reuse gift paper, but I just reuse gift paper.
You still use gift paper?
Well, not
You know,
technical-
there was an invention some years ago called the gift bag.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a bag of gift bags. You know, people have a bag of grocery, a bag of bags, a bag of garbage / grocery bags.
Well, mine is a box now.
I have a bag of gift
I have
bags.
a box of garbage.
What I'm saying is, I hate, you're right, we have that magpie syndrome where we just run to the bright and shiny and new and we just collect it and then we just look to bright and shiny and new something else.
Yeah, because now, as much as we're trying to keep it light, we also have to accept that there's a reality of the world around us. And one thing that we have to constantly look at here, excuse the bad handwriting.
No, I'm just checking to see how much more positive things I have here.
No, I got all positive out from a list this week.
You right, real big? Go ahead, listening, actually listening.
What is this, right? Yeah, one thing we have to accept is that we live in a landscape or a time when persons are constantly trying to prove their worth, trying to prove their progress points, right? And we have to remember that that is the landscape that we live in. So we also have to accept that because of the landscape, what exists may not be what persists because you have to prove that you would have done something.
Right.
I ask that should a change happen in 5 years or the current persists past 5 years, that whatever happens continues to progress.
There we go. Factory reset every program.
Correct.
Project.
That we don't keep throwing out the baby with the bathwater. That we don't keep having a bunch of expensive white elephants. That we don't keep creating new things that just cover over something that would have just been ceased.
Yeah, I think they call them albatross projects. The things that you do, you spend a whole lot of money on, and then it's just down there doing nothing.
Right? So as we talking about things like sports and investments in communities and things like that, we ask that if there are systems that are in place, that we see what they are and see if we could build on what it is to make it better, as opposed to putting pause on that system and then go and buy a new one.
You know what?
Or build a new one, sorry.
Yes, guys, let's practice some humility as well, and maybe even do a little 2-day or 3-hour conflict resolution course or something. But we have too many good initiatives in Trinidad and Tobago that fracture and fragment because somebody didn't like how somebody do something. So instead of an organization being able to impact the community because people learn how to work together, they fragment, and all of a sudden you have competing elements within the same space instead of being able to build something. And then when you're wait now, you're not playing football with so-and-so, nah, I just sweat with so-and-so on these days because them does only sweat on those days. So anytime come for a tournament or whatever, instead of being able to play your community against another community or one team versus another, you literally had to pick which of the two that you're dealing with to play. What I mean is we actually creating divisiveness.
With that one, that example, I understand your point. However, we have to accept that there are limitations to each situation it may apply to.
Yes.
Right? So, for example, when I used to play competitive football years ago, I had to pick between two teams because the both teams played in two separate leagues in separate parts of the country.
Right.
But
That was not the point I was
no, just now, wait. I'm not finished. And I know why I'm saying it. They played in the two separate leagues, two separate parts of the country, in two different football associations, but the games were on the same day at the same time.
Well, then you're talking exactly what it is I'm talking about.
Right, so just now.
I agree with you.
So all I'm saying is, sometimes the situations may be different because, remember, we're going back to the previous example, the availability of facilities. Remember when you made that point a few moments ago?
Mr. Williams, explain to me how competing football groups, right?
Look, just now, go with me here. And it is because...
According to one Mr. Phillips, you're passing Diego Martin to go right hand.
I know, but what I'm saying is, sometimes the situation may be that the choice is beyond the individual because of limitations to a system which is in place.
You completely miss what I'm talking about.
Okay, cool. This happened.
Right?
And I apologize.
The individual being forced to choose is not on the individual. I'm talking about the fact that the organizations are so fractured that an individual has to choose.
Right.
Because if you from Diego Martin and you just go up Diego Martin and get sweat, but you'll go fight a bar and sweat at that club because they just sweat on a different day or something like that.
Right.
That's one thing. I'm talking about you from Diego Martin and it have another club in Diego Martin because it was one club before. Did somebody fall out with somebody this one going the old way, and the thing bust up. So now we have two versions of the same club.
So you have an Inter Milan and AC Milan.
Right.
And two of them is the same home ground.
Same home ground. Right? So instead of being able to play, instead of let me say Marabella Bulldogs being able to play football 2 days for the week and train 3. Now it's split between Marabella Bulldogs FC and FC Marabella Bulldogs now. Because both of we was on original Bulldogs. We fall out. Nobody really owned the name. So all of a sudden,
So Bulldogs and Dog Bulls.
Bulldogs and Dog Bulls. Right? And instead of being able to train 3 days and play 2, now we have 1 day to play, 1 day to train because we have to split the resources with somebody else.
Right, so now, let me, and as I say, that's one part of it. But then we have to look at also on a national scale. When we have different football associations in different regions, all of them playing on the same day because the availability of grounds.
Because we have the best grounds in the Caribbean, quote unquote.
So EFA, SFA, NFA, all of we playing on the same Saturday at 4 p.m. Games is 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. Because like the times the grounds are available. And me now, who played in SFA, but also playing in EFA because I live in Sandoval, working in the East.
Right. So now here the problem with that. These FAs not reporting to an
FA.
A FA?
Right.
So right now it's sounding kind of like FA, FO. Because you can't tell me I registered in multiple administrations, in multiple associations to play football, right? And there's not a body of oversight that says, hey, you're not allowed to be registered as this type of player in more than one division because of... You realize that the grassroots report to or function under...
It should.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. The professionals have to function professionally.
Yeah.
Right? This country, I shouldn't even say country, because country don't mean less sophisticated or
But it
organized.
could also be that I'm playing in 2 different divisions.
All of that, it have an organization that these organizations report into that have rules, that have...
And that's the thing, professional sport should be treated as professional.
You can't be registered as a player with multiple teams.
You can, if you're playing in different divisions.
If you're playing in different divisions. Fine, great. Who have the record of these things? We even have school football that have these types of challenges because of our failure to actually hold systems and to be accountable. We have situations where tournaments being organized by all of these clubs to give the players exposure and training and help them develop. And then on the day, they're canceling the tournament because this team didn't finish register or this one short players because it have something else going on. Like, it have this nasty confusion on all levels.
Or a national level championship events are being cancelled the day before.
So this is what I'm telling you, this is not about the individual having to choose. It's about the failure of the systems in place to function properly and forcing individuals and talent and players into untenable circumstances.
We really at a point where if we want our sporting opportunities to improve, yes, we need people to partake and participate, but we also need the management systems to function properly.
I can shake your hand?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, this, you know, a little here just now, it have the living room 868 with Aaron Williams, and then it'll here it have Ricardo Mitchell with the living room. The both of them gonna be on whack. And it's gonna be first half hour is Aaron on for alphabetical reasons and seniority, and the second half hour gonna be mine. This is how it has happened.
And this is a part in retrospect, me being the person that I am, should something like that ever have to happen, I would always walk away.
And do what?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Because again, we go back to the original.
I'm not shaking your hand now, too late.
No, I didn't want to shake it.
That look like you extend your hand.
We go back to the original point that we were.
Wow. I ain't taking that. You leave me hanging in it. You leave me hanging in it. You know how it feel?
Yes, I do.
And you do it anyway.
Yes. Because we go back to the original point of a show that we would have had either last year or year before,
And leave me hanging in.
where we need to get persons to understand that you need to retire in peace. If you understand that you are not the person that can take the program forward, know that there's a point where you have to retire in peace.
I get that. I hear you. That's a different topic. What I'm talking about is divisiveness undermining the thing that you're building.
Retire in peace.
That's looking like a loaded message.
No, understand what I'm saying, Ricardo. If you and I have created a football team, and I know we've heard us close to the hour 7 p.m.
Living Room FC.
Right? We created Living Room FC. I am the head coach, you are the assistant coach. And I realized that I can't take this team any further. Am I at this point going to tarnish my record? We might be going 26-0 of a 38-game season. 26 straight wins. And I'm realizing, wait now, I can't do this anymore. There's something in me that though we are performing well, I still think that I'm holding back this team. And you as the assistant coach now saying,
we winning, but the way that we winning here, you're starting to see the dip now.
right? And you now realize that it have more that could be done. You are telling me that there's more that could be done. But me, in my stubborn old ways, don't want to listen. Bam, we hit that first loss.
Or a draw.
And then we lose. And then it's like, Ricardo's my assistant. He can't tell me what to do. That is not how it does work. I am the head of this thing here. But now the players start to side with Ricardo. At that point, you also have to know, hey, it's either one or two things. Either it's like, let me take a back seat and allow Ricardo to handle training to see what could be done to change. Or be like, at the end of the season, I realize that I can't do this. And I have to step away from the game, or step away from the sport, step away from management, to allow somebody that opportunity to become better. If persons learn to do that, there would be less of FC Living Room and Living Room FC.
And then room for living football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When people understand that, hey, I have to accede leadership, or I have to accede control to someone else who may be coming with bright ideas to move the organization, the group, or the team forward, then we would see less divisiveness and more togetherness, because persons have learned the age-old principle which we have preached here in the living room, that you need to retire in peace. It was a long-winded analogy, but I hope you understood what I was getting at.
Yeah, we passed Diego Martin, man.
Well, Kenny's my partner, and you know he'd love to go all over.
But anyway, all I'm saying is, what we spoke about was a little more than just the things we spoke about. And who have ears to hear, let them hear. Right?
And who have eyes to watch on YouTube, watch.
Yeah.
Or listen at the same time.
Guys, we're beyond perilously close. I believe Mr. Desmond is already...
Desmond on pulling down the line on.
Right? So this is Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage. Thank you for joining us in the living room. Remember, guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. Oh, and in case we had not said it last week, I know we make mention to it, but Happy Mother's Day still, for those who would have missed it. Sunday evening, Mr. and Mrs. Phillips did a great Mother's Day program on WAC. It was fantastic stuff. It was a very gentle shootout, tune for tune kind of thing. It was real nice.
Who win?
The listeners. The listeners won.
Kenny get tail cut.
The listeners won.
Kenny,
The listeners won.
I watch it,
The listeners
You're
won.
losing plenty in them challenge,
The listeners won.
Kenny, you're losing plenty. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going through the Aaron868. I mind each and every time that culty is my code. And I also tell you that love is a currency, so spend some today. Let somebody know you love them, guys. Friday? You coming in Friday?
Yeah.
I had to hold it down Friday.
I had to hold it down?
Yeah, I had to hold it down.
I thought I commented. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
nah, I think I have I'm supposed to have an event at UE on Friday night.
A word.
I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure as yet. I need the confirmation email.
Alright, got you. Well, I'll be there either way.
Right? So it's either we split the thing or we know how it go, but yeah. Right, so keep it locked in True Nation Station, WACK 90.1 FM.
I was going to leave you hanging, but I figured it would have been a very poor example of,
That's why he's the assistant coach.